Love reveals itself in actions far more than in words. Anyone can say the right things, but when someone truly loves, their behavior tells the truth. Real love is not about grand gestures on special days, but about the quiet, consistent choices they make every single day. It shows in the way they hold space for you, protect your peace, and stand beside you even when life tests the bond. These are not promises whispered, but habits lived. If you have ever wondered how to know whether the love you receive is genuine, look at the details. Because when someone's heart belongs to you, their actions will leave no doubt. When love is true, the way someone treats time shifts entirely. Time, which is often the most valuable resource, suddenly becomes something they are eager to spend with you. No matter how full their schedule is, no matter how many distractions the world throws at them, you will never feel like an afterthought. There is a clear difference between someone who places you on the sidelines and someone who weaves you into the center of their life. When it's real, they don't wait for the perfect occasion to show up. They create moments within the chaos. Even if the day is heavy and the hours seem scarce, they will carve out space, even in the smallest gestures, to remind you that you matter. A quick message to check on you, a call in between responsibilities, or showing up after a long day just to share a moment together. These are not accidents, they are deliberate choices. Love that prioritizes you does not ask you to compete with distractions, whether it's work, friends, or endless obligations. Instead, it naturally makes you feel like you belong in the very center of their world. You never need to chase after their attention because they freely give it, and in giving it, they bring peace to your heart. This doesn't mean they will abandon everything else in their life, but it does mean they balance those things while making sure you are never left in the shadows. Their actions whisper the truth that no matter what the world demands, you remain a priority. This kind of love carries a powerful message. You are worth their effort, you are worth their presence, and you are worth their time. Even in exhaustion, even when their body is tired, the soul finds energy to reach for you. Because when someone truly loves, you become more than just a part of their schedule. You become their reason for it. And it is through this consistent effort, these small but meaningful choices, that you feel the depth of their devotion. In a world that is always busy, where excuses come easily, choosing you is the loudest declaration of love. Listening, when love is genuine, is no longer about waiting for a turn to speak. It becomes an act of presence, a way of saying without words that your heart, your thoughts, and your emotions matter. Real listening is not just about hearing the sentences that leave your lips. It is about understanding the meaning hidden between them. It notices the tone of your voice, the shift in your expression, the silence that lingers when something is too heavy to say aloud. Love pays attention to the details others might overlook, the sigh you let out when you think no one is noticing, the way your eyes dim when you're holding back pain, or the pause before you answer because the truth feels too vulnerable. These quiet signals are not dismissed, they are honored because love wants to know you beyond the surface. When someone listens deeply, they are not distracted by their phone, not scanning the room, not rehearsing their response. Their focus is locked on you, and in that moment, you feel seen. You feel safe to open up, knowing that your words will not be used against you, but will instead be cradled with care. This kind of listening builds trust because it assures you that your emotions are not a burden, but a gift worth receiving. You don't need to fight to be heard, because love makes space for your truth. The beauty of deep listening is that it goes beyond the present conversation. Love remembers the little things you mentioned weeks ago, recalls the dreams you shared, and takes note of the struggles you whispered. When those things resurface later, when love surprises you by remembering what you thought was forgotten, you realize that your voice carries weight in their heart. That's how you know you are valued, not just in big moments, but in the everyday rhythm of life. And when silence comes, when words fall short, love does not panic. It understands that sometimes the silence itself is the message, and simply sitting beside you in that quiet is more powerful than 1,000 speeches. Real love listens with patience, with empathy, with the intent to understand rather than to correct. It does not just acknowledge your voice, it cherishes it. And in that cherishing, you feel the kind of connection that words alone could never create. Love that is real carries with it a natural instinct to protect. Not in a way that suffocates or controls, but in a way that shields you from harm and safeguards your dignity. When someone truly cares, they cannot stand the thought of you being hurt, belittled, or disrespected. They step in quietly but firmly when the world tries to dim your light, making it clear through their actions that your heart is not something to be played with. This protection doesn't always show itself in dramatic gestures. Often, it's in the subtle choices they make every day. It's in the way they refuse to let others speak poorly of you, in the way they stand by your side when life throws judgment or challenges your way, and in the way they handle your vulnerabilities as if they were holding fragile glass. When someone loves deeply, your dignity becomes part of their responsibility. They will never expose your weaknesses to others, never mock your insecurities, never treat your secrets as casual conversation. Instead, they guard them, as if keeping them safe is second nature. They honor the trust you give, and they understand that protecting you is not just about defending you from the outside world, but also about how they treat you in private. They do not raise their voice to break your spirit, do not use words to cut you down, do not leave scars that cannot be seen. Their love becomes a safe haven, a place where you can rest without fear of betrayal. There is also a quiet strength in how love protects your heart. It recognizes that your emotions are delicate, and instead of carelessly disregarding them, it handles them with care. Even in moments of disagreement, love does not attack or belittle. It argues with respect, it disagrees without cruelty, and it always circles back to healing rather than destruction. That is the difference between ordinary affection and deep devotion. Love doesn't just enjoy your smile, it works to preserve it. And perhaps the most powerful sign of this protection is its consistency. It doesn't vanish when things get hard, nor does it falter when others test it. It remains steady, unshaken, because protecting you is not a choice made out of obligation, but a reflection of true love. To love is to protect, and when someone shows this without being asked, you know their heart is truly yours. Consistency is one of the clearest ways love reveals itself, because anyone can be present when life is easy, but real love proves itself in the storms. It is simple to smile together in sunshine, to laugh when days are light, and to hold hands when nothing is weighing you down. But the test of love is not found in perfect moments. It is found in challenges, in hardships, in the nights when tears replace laughter and burdens feel too heavy to carry alone. When someone truly loves, their presence does not vanish in those moments. They stay, they endure, and they remind you that you are never alone in the struggle. This kind of love does not appear and disappear depending on convenience. It is not here one day and gone the next, leaving you guessing where you stand. Instead, it provides stability, a rhythm you can count on, like the heartbeat of something unshakable. There is a quiet power in knowing that no matter what the day holds, you will not face it without support. Their consistency becomes your anchor, grounding you when everything else feels uncertain. And in that steadiness, trust is built because you learn to believe in their word, in their presence, in their devotion. Consistency also shows itself in the small, everyday things, the way they check on you not just once, but every day, the way they don't forget the promises they make, even the small ones, the way they show up when they said they would, even if it cost them comfort. These are not grand gestures made to impress, they are steady acts of care that speak louder than declarations of love ever could. Words may fade, but repeated actions, day after day, carve the truth into your heart. And when storms rage, when life tests both of you, true love does not shrink back. It holds your hand through the chaos, it stands in the rain with you, and it chooses to fight for the bond rather than flee from the discomfort. Love that is consistent does not give up, at the first sign of difficulty because it is not rooted in convenience. It is rooted in commitment. And that commitment is what gives you peace, because you know love that remains consistent is love that is real. Sacrifice in love is not about grand gestures that demand applause. It is about the quiet choices made every day that prove how much someone values you. When love is true, sacrifice does not feel like a loss, but rather a natural expression of care. It is not measured in how much someone gives up, but in how willingly they do it without expectation, without keeping score. They do not say, "I did this for you, so you owe me." Instead, they move through life with the understanding that your happiness and peace are just as important as their own. This sacrifice shows itself in countless little ways. Staying up late to listen when you've had a heavy day, rearranging plans to be there when you need them, or putting your needs before their own when circumstances demand it. Sometimes it is as simple as sharing the last bite, choosing a movie they don't particularly like because it makes you smile, or carrying more of the weight during tough times so you don't have to. None of these things are done reluctantly. They are done out of love because love takes joy in giving. True sacrifice is not about losing identity or abandoning self-worth. It is about balance, about weaving two lives together so that both can thrive. Love that sacrifices does not feel resentful because it understands that giving and receiving flow naturally in a healthy bond. One day it may be you who makes the sacrifice, another day it is them. But in the end, neither is keeping track because the goal is not fairness, it is togetherness. What makes this sacrifice powerful is the intention behind it. It is not about obligation. It is not about fear of losing you. It is about the genuine desire to see you safe, content, and at peace. Love sees beyond itself and thinks, what can I do to make this easier for the one I care about? And in those moments, whether small or life, changing, you see the depth of devotion. When love sacrifices without keeping score, it creates a bond of trust that nothing else can match. You begin to understand that you are cherished, not because of what you give in return, but simply because of who you are. And that kind of love is rare, powerful, and enduring. Real love is never threatened by your growth. Instead, it thrives on it. When someone truly cares, they don't just want to keep you as you are. They want to see you evolve into everything you're capable of becoming. They believe in your potential, sometimes even more than you believe in yourself, and they remind you of your strength when you forget it. This kind of love doesn't shrink in the shadow of your ambition. It celebrates it because your victories feel like they're victories too. Investing in your growth means more than just offering words of encouragement. It is shown through action. It is the way they support your dreams, no matter how big or small, by listening to your plans, helping you prepare and standing by you when doubt creeps in. It is in the way they push you to go after opportunities instead of settling, urging you to trust in your abilities. Sometimes it's as simple as reminding you to apply for that job, encouraging you to finish that project, or giving you the quiet confidence to take a step you were too afraid to take on your own. True love does not feel intimidated by your progress. It does not hold you back out of fear that you will outgrow the relationship. Instead, it becomes the wind beneath your wings, lifting you higher because it understands that your light shines brightest when you are free to become your fullest self. They take pride in your achievements, they celebrate your milestones, and they stand by you in failures, not with judgment, but with reassurance that setbacks are just stepping stones. What makes this investment so powerful is that it is rooted in selflessness. It is not about shaping you into what they want, but about supporting you in becoming who you want to be. They don't impose their vision, they honor yours. They don't see your growth as a threat to their place in your life. They see it as proof that the bond is strong enough to handle evolution. When love invests in your growth, it creates a partnership where both can rise, where both can dream, and where both can expand without fear. It is not about holding each other down, but about lifting each other up. And in that space, you realize that love is not just about comfort. It is about becoming better together. Real love doesn't hide in words alone. It reveals itself in actions that never need to be explained. It shows up in the time that is made, the listening that runs deeper than sound, the protection that shields both your heart and your dignity, the consistency that steadies you through storms, the sacrifices given without keeping score, and the investment poured into your growth and future. These are not random gestures. They are patterns lived daily that prove love is real. You never have to beg for it, never have to question it, because when it's genuine, it leaves no room for doubt. True love is steady, selfless, and undeniable. And when you feel it, you will know this is the kind of love that doesn't just speak. It transforms, it builds, and it lasts.